You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is crazy.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach Bub. I'm the bad boy of X-Men podcasting.
Yeah.
And I'm the baddest at what I do, and what I do is not very nice.
Enough said. You know, especially this week, you really are stretching your bad boy qualifications in your story choices here, mister.
Adam, this wasn't even in our official picks document. This was me sitting around and being like, what would be funny for me to make Adam read? And you know what? I was right. I had a great time understanding your reactions to this.
I think periodically I just kept checking in going, oh God, oh no, oh this, what? And it was really great because it just kept escalating. So sure was an interesting time this weekend reading these awful Wolverine stories.
It's because Wolverine Volume 3, which is the 2000s Wolverine, maybe the most balls to the wall, insane chunk of comics that have ever come out. Like, it's 70 some issues.
Mm-hmm.
And not a single one of them is normal.
No, and it's all of these arcs that are just kind of loosely tied together and throwing all kinds of weird stuff at the wall, and very little of it sticks.
And the thing is, big name creators, big name writers, big name artists, like big swings constantly. It's just amazing how bad the at-bat is at this run. Like,
we will get into why. It's okay, but you're absolutely right that the hit rate isn't great. So Zach, as you mentioned, this is your selections. These are your picks. Normally we would rely on our patrons. So if people do want to select things for us to cover, what should they do?
Well, they should make sure that I don't think I'm not going to be able to record 1 week so that we don't plan for it and then find out that I do get to record actually. So we have to hurry up and call an audible real quick. And instead of picking something easy, I say, well, let's read 25 comics. Don't worry, Adam. They are all very slim. None of that was wrong.
No, that's true. Very top-notch stuff.
Top-notch is a strong word. I would say they are very...
I'm kidding. Of course they're not. None of this is top-notch.
They're quick. It's like falling out of an airplane. At least it's not gonna hurt that bad. Like, it'll be over pretty fast.
I don't know. You gotta get to the ground. That's not gonna that's gonna take a second.
Yeah, but that doesn't hurt. I mean, I guess it would be cold and the wind chill and like the air that may like sting a bit, but I mean, it's not. There's worse ways to die, like you could in Wolverine Volume 2, where he rolls over somebody, or he gets rolled over by a steamroller. That's in Punisher. That's not in Wolverine Volume 2. There's a sequel to it that we'll cover at one point. Frank Thierry way out of pocket on that one.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, that's crazy.
No, I don't know what I was saying. Patreon.com/Battle of the Atom, $5. Do that.
Yeah, do that.
Coins, coffers, hearts, pocketbooks, all the normal things I say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have to hear us talk about Wolverine Volume 3, 13 to 19, a 7-parter, baby. Return of the Native.
Return of the Native. Now, I'm not familiar with the Native, Zach. What exactly is the Native? Because I'm worried that the use of this, just on surface, using that as a nomenclature seems weird to me.
Seems like we're starting this at a level of could go in some interesting directions.
Yes.
There could be some challenges with this early 2000s story. This is a 2004 story arc by Wolverine, the guy who starts off Wolverine Volume 3, and I think has the longest consistent chunk of issues, Greg Rucka, with pencils by Derek Robertson.
Yes.
And I'm going to say this because I'm not going to say this about the other creators, or at least the other writers that we talk about on this episode. I like Greg Rucka. Greg Rucka's really good.
Okay.
Like, in general, Greg
Sure.
Rucka's a pretty darn good writer.
If this, however, was the only comics you ever read by Greg Rucka, would you still have that same opinion?
No, you would have some questions about what Greg Rucka's doing. This is, I forgot. Because I even said, because I wanted to have 3 different stories from this run by 3 different creative teams. That way it didn't feel like we were getting across the message that, no, it's not just this one guy. It's the whole run is this way.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, Return of the Native. I was like, I think that's the weirdest thing Rucka does, but comparatively, it's not that weird. And you know what? I stand by it.
And
but
yet,
the gap is a lot closer.
It's still pretty bonkers. So our story begins with Sabretooth hunting something known as the Native in a forest with a couple of mercenaries by his side. And whatever this thing is, it bests them fairly easily and gets away. And as our story goes by, we realize that the Native is basically girl Wolverine.
It's girl Wolverine.
It's another girl Wolverine.
She was apparently in Weapon X. Here's what we know about the Native.
Okay.
1, she seems to be white, which is,
Yep.
I mean, you could have, her code name was Feral in like some stuff. And I know that's somebody else's code name already, but you could have doubled up.
Sure.
Feral wasn't using it.
Yep.
So that's weird. She was a Weapon X test subject. She runs around the forest in furs with bony Wolverine claws. Looks like dreads for most of this.
Yeah, that's a little.
Which, okay, to be fair, I don't think she's appropriating dreads in so much as she's not bathing.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where like they're trying to accentuate the fact that this is like a woman of the woods, right? And that like she's got matted hair and that, you know, she's kind of grimy. And yet we will see also scenes that like are meant to kind of accentuate that she's this like gorgeous model looking woman as well, except just drops the first letter off every word for fun.
Yeah, the characterization of the Native is wild. And I want to point out, Greg Rucka, one of the guys that's like pretty well regarded as, oh yeah, he writes women pretty well. Which is weird that that's something you have to say in comics, but also like Greg Rucka, generally, he likes a strong, sassy lady cop. It's his favorite.
Here, Wolverine hunts the Native down in an effort to protect her from Sabretooth. And Zach, this is the biggest LOL that I have had reading a comic book in a long time.
I forgot and I screamed when I got to it, buddy.
When Wolverine finally encounters the Native and they fist fight, and then they like basically go from that to slowly undressing, making out, and then having sex. I was like, this is hilarious. Like it was laugh out loud funny how like it hits you that when they start making out. I was just like, is this for real? This is actually happening.
Wolverine has heightened senses of smell, Adam.
Right.
And this woman does not bathe.
No.
Like, and you're supposed to be like, oh, look how cool Wolverine is. They went from fighting to the other thing that starts with F. And I'm like, I got questions about all this. One of these people seems to have a higher level of cognition than the other, like a level of concern.
Yes. She does not seem to be completely like competent necessarily. And that's interesting choices that Wolverine is making here.
I get everything like, I get the thought process that Rucka is making every step of the way here. I also feel like if he would have told literally one person this story out loud with his mouth before he got to, like, actually having Derek Robinson draw it, he would have said, no, wait, no, I hear it now.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, I get it now. Okay, yeah, no, we got to do a different one. This is bad. We should do a different story here.
Yeah.
By the way, this is like by issue 2 or 3 of the story.
Oh, it just rattles pretty quickly. By the time we get to the end, they're trying, Wolverine is trying to rescue the native from Weapon X.
Because Wolverine and Sabretooth have teamed up now.
Sort of. Yeah, begrudgingly.
Kind of. Both of them knowing that there will be a betrayal, which is one of my favorite tropes, is when people team up knowing that it's not going to work out, and they're just playing one side against the other. Like, or playing against each other, like, okay, who's going to go first?
Mm-hmm. And I do appreciate that Wolverine does essentially pin Sabretooth under the wheels of a Humvee. That's kind of funny. That got a chuckle out of me.
Sabretooth has been hired by some guys.
Yeah, we really don't know anything about the Rucka doesn't give you much information about who this group is, but they're very eager to start Weapon X back up at the Weapon X facility, right?
Yeah, it's Mr. Murray and Mr. Willoughby. They don't matter. They die very quick, or by the end of this. They try and betray Sabretooth.
Doesn't go well.
Sabretooth does murder them pretty good.
It's kind of funny that he isn't murdering them the whole time. Like, he keeps his cool for
they are promising him a lot of money.
Yes.
And I'll give Rucka credit. I don't think his Sabretooth is poorly written in this. Like, this is like good, competent, mercenary Sabretooth. Like, I'm evil, violent, and not a good guy. And that's just me.
Yeah. I got to get some bucks, right?
Yeah. I get it. Kills a lot of people in this.
Yes.
And then here's what you know is going to happens. In that, eventually, the native, who is now using very short words, and Wolverine fight, and the native is killed, and Wolverine is sad.
Yep. They fridge her.
Do you know how long the Marvel Wiki biography of the native is?
Oh, God. Is it long?
Yeah, it's 1,500 words.
What the heck?
Like,
this character
there's more. That is more words than Greg Rucka wrote.
I was gonna say,
and I know 1,500 isn't like a lot of words, but it's a lot of words for the native.
It's pretty funny that
it feels wrong just to say her name. Like,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
it's what they call her, and it is coming off the tongue wrong. I love it.
I do appreciate that the Marvel Wiki has a power grid for her that explicitly says intelligence 1.
Yeah, that's rogue level intelligence, right? that's what Rogue has on the card.
Yeah, on
no,
the
I'm sorry. Card. Apparently, this power grid intelligence slow or impaired. Which
jeez, not a good look, man.
Marvel.
Ooh.
They also have Krakoa as intelligence 1, and I don't think the island that walks like a man is intelligence 1.
That's tough. No Krakoa in this particular story, though. Just a lot of like woodlands and lab environments.
They also have Isaiah Bradley on here as intelligence 1, a man who has a traumatic brain injury because he was used as a government experiment because he was seen as expendable.
Yeah, gosh.
Like,
I don't know. I don't.
Marvel Wiki. I know that the trading cards did this, but y'all maybe need to not have that.
I don't think that anyone is pining for the native to come back or any additional stories about the native. I do think that it's kind of funny that there is yet another female Wolverine in Wolverine's history, and yet another.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Important Marvel Power Grid update.
Oh, geez. Sorry.
They have the Fury. It kills superheroes as intelligence 1. Maybe this is a flawed system.
That doesn't seem to really comprehend what the Fury is and is capable of.
Of
But-
killing superheroes. It kills
Yeah.
superheroes. That's
Yeah.
what the Fury does. It kills superheroes. And it does it very intelligently.
It's true. That's true. I don't know. I didn't make these stats up. But we don't ever need to see the native or think about the native again. I don't want to keep saying the native. It's a very poor choice on Rucka's part, and this is not a good story.
Why is it called Return of the Native as the arc title? Like, I get that in this story, the native comes back into Wolverine's life from him not really remembering and assuming that, yeah, okay, I guess we had this cabin here. Also, and this is, why is this not Silver Fox? Like, taking everything aside, everything else about it, if this is a Silver Fox, like, Silver Fox actually, like, wasn't vipered or whatever, or she's back and Weapon X experimented on her and blah, 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 all this stuff happens. And maybe, I don't remember if she was actually a Hydra person, if that was a clone. I love Larry Hama.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If this was like a Silver Fox story, it makes more sense because then you at least have the pathos of Wolverine, like, knowing that this was someone that he actually cared about, and we know that this was someone that Wolverine cared about, and it makes the dynamic with her and Sabretooth and Wolverine different, and I'm not sure I want to see that story, but I almost don't think, like, that's the easier way to get more out of this story.
To answer your question, the only thing that I can think about why it's called Return of the Native is there is a Thomas Hardy novel called Return of the Native. It has nothing to do with anything that would be even remotely related to this story. It is about an individual named Clem Yowbright who comes back to England to be a schoolmaster after being a jeweler in Paris. And how maybe it was just like a handy title that was sitting around for Greg Rucka, but I don't know. Maybe there's another story called Return of the Native that I don't know about, but that's the one.
No, it seems like it's this one. Anyway, I'm going to be very honest. We're not being kind to this story.
Mm-hmm. That's because it's bad.
Yes, but also, Adam, this is easily the best story that we're going to talk about this episode.
Also very possible. So
look, it's not even close.
Yeah. Let's try and rank this on our big old list.
Okay, so on our list, jeez, we have 873 stories on the road on that lonesome woodland road to 900. We're ranking them from best to worst. The number one story on the list is House of X, The Powers of 10. Number 200 on this list is Uncanny X-Men 122, Cry for the Children. Number 400 on this list is Happenings in Vegas from X Factor. Number 600 on this list is X-23, Collision Course. That's with Dakin in it. Number 800 on this list is What If Astonishing X-Men. Number 873, Bud, you know it's the worst X-Men story of all time, 2099, The World of Tomorrow.
Nice.
Today. It's The World of Tomorrow today.
Folks, I'm already all the way down at like the 800s, so I want you to tell me if this is better or worse than the 6 issues of Volume 2 of Wolverine and the X-Men.
Better.
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, okay, I'm looking around.
It's not much better. Like, it's not.
Maybe, oh, this hurts. This is tough because it's not fun to read.
No, it got a big laugh out of me, but not for a good reason.
No, they weren't trying to make you laugh, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Derek Robertson's art's pretty decent in this.
Sure, it's fine.
It's fine. I don't know. Tomorrow Never Learns is probably better, isn't it?
It might be. It does have like early Asrar art. All right, why don't we put it in between that and Wild Thing number 4, which is below it at 832. Does that seem okay?
I think the problem is you picked the right spot right away. Because I look back down and I'm like, well, this is probably better than the first 3 issues of X-Men Gold. But oddly, man, yeah, all of this is on you 832. Folks, if we sound conflicted right now, Well, just wait.
No, let's get really into it now, because like that was just the appetizer. Now we got to get into the entree, which is Wolverine Volume 3, 50 to 55 Evolution. And boy, oh boy, was this a fun one. I'm just kidding. Not fun at all to read. Who's our creative team here, Zach?
Simone Bianchi on pencils, and that's an artist that you either are in or you aren't with them. I tend to like Bianchi.
Oh, I got a lot to say about the Bianchi here.
I want to hear it, because there's one specific part that is the wildest thing.
It's so bad.
But also in 2007, not a unique to Simone Bianchi problem.
No.
And Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
What is there to say about Jeff Loeb III?
Man, Jeff Loeb. It's just amazing to me that anyone would ever read like comics by Jeff Loeb like these and then put him in charge of like large swaths of television and
it's just
media making. It's like, why?
Well, one, he started in like film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jeff Loeb helped write the script to Commando.
Yes.
And also Teen Wolf 2.
Great. That explains Teen Wolf 2. That kind of explains some stuff, because Zach, we are going to get into the science of this story. This is
oh my gosh.
Oh,
Jeff Loeb was a producer on Lost Season 2?
Yes, I did know that. Yeah, but
that explains actually a lot.
Yeah, just a producer though. I don't think.
No, he was a writer. He was a writer as well.
Too? Oh,
yeah, okay. He had writing credits as well. Okay. So here's the thing: I've got a lot of issues with how much Tim Sale tricked us into thinking that maybe Jeff Loeb was good.
There's no trickery here.
The Long Halloween is not like a good, competent mystery, but Tim Sale's great.
Oh my god.
Is Spider-Man Blue actually good, or is it sappy and melodramatic? Who's to say, because it looks amazing.
There is no such switcheroo here with this particular story, which is just bad. And this is one of those where you wonder if like there's a language comprehension issue, because yet again, Jeff Loeb seems to think that Wolverines and wolves are somehow related, and that panthers are dogs as well. I mean,
also that saber-toothed cats are wolves.
Yeah, some really confusing biology here. And we've mentioned Romulus on this show before, but this is the arc.
Yeah, we have.
This is the arc that really tries to sell us on some very, very bizarre Wolverine backstory. And there's some furry type stuff in this that I did not care for. There's all kinds of stuff happening here.
Adam, that's not even like top 12 of the stuff in this that made me raise an eyebrow. And that may be because I was on Blue Sky too much. And I got normalized to what their filters don't catch.
Well, every issue is beginning with these hallucinogenic type flashbacks that Wolverine is having, in which he claims now that he can remember it all. And these are memories that are flashing between like World War II, the ancient Roman Colosseum, some sort of weird prehistoric wolf people. It's weird. It's real weird. And then in the present, he's not happy at all that Sabretooth is on the Supernovas team. And
to be fair, Wolverine's 100% right on this one.
Oh, sure. But the two of them basically just spend these 5 issues ripping each other to shreds, and all of the nuance. Like, I know we just tore up that Greg Rucka story, but you're right. He did kind of give Sabretooth like a solid voice in that story. All of that's gone here. Like, these characters sound dumb. They have no depth,
This-
no pathos. Like, it's all out the window.
This Sabretooth wants to hurt, murder, and rape. That's all he wants to do. And at minimum, it's just like not pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just at minimum, it's not pleasant. However, the comic does not give you time to think through the implications of this, because as they are fighting their blood match, we learn some things, specifically from Storm, who electrocutes Sabretooth and then takes him and Wolverine to her husband and her new home in Wakanda, where Black Panther says,
Deep breath.
by the way, hey guys, I'm Black Panther. I'm going to be really famous soon, but right now I'm hitching my wagon to Storm for her cred, which is true. And I'm sorry, T'Challa, you're great. I like you a lot. You deserved more. But this was very much a Jay-Z and Beyonce wedding, which is what it was advertised as. And much like Jay-Z and Beyonce, one of them is much more famous now, and it's not the one you'd think.
Yes. You want to get into the
I want to can I explain it?
Yeah, please. This is
I
bonkers.
got the biggest smile on my face. As we all know, Homo sapiens,
Sure.
over millions of years, evolved from a common ancestor to apes. Like, there was one point and there was a divergent evolution. What Jeff Loeb postulates, and by Jeff Loeb, I mean T'Challa, the smartest man.
Yes.
Is that, well, actually, our archaeologists are showing me things, and I have a theory.
Oh boy.
That actually there was a divergent line, a separate divergent line that became humans also, which is not how it works, that came from wolves. And Wolverine and Sabretooth, I think you guys are descended from that. I mean, think about how many wolf mutants there are. Now let's pause here for a second. I went to Christian school, so I don't know anything about the evolution side of this. For all I know, T'Challa's spot on.
Okay.
Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Hear me out. I talked to my mom the other day, and she was like, oh, what science, or something about science, like my kid was bringing up, like, what science she likes, and she was mentioning, like, he asked if I took a lot of biology, and I had to look him in the eyes with my mom there. I said, no, I went to Christian school, so while I took one semester of biology, I'm pretty sure they weren't teaching it right. There's some fundamental things in there that they didn't get. Regardless, T'Challa did not go to a fundamental Christian school. T'Challa went to the best schools in Wakanda, which is a fundamental Baptist university. A Southern Baptist university. I'm using that joke later. That's great. I like that. That's going on Blue Sky right after this. I'm sorry. It's just we have to get to the part where Sabretooth says everyone on the X-Men like, oh yeah, you guys have so many wolf people. And then brings out all the wolf people. I'm putting wolf people in quotes, because if we are.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm getting there too. But Adam, I want to get to one other thing first.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm enjoying this.
Yes. If Jeff Loeb is trying to say that actually Chuck Austin was right with Lobo Maximus and all of the other wolf mutants that he introduces in his run, then I'm like, okay, now we're cooking, Jeff. We're bringing up Chuck Austin plot points and saying they are incredibly relevant to Wolverine. I don't think you're right. But no, he doesn't do that. Instead, he says, yeah, all these other wolf things. This is a completely separate, different breed of wolf people. And Adam, I lose it when T'Challa parades out all of his evidence of different wolf mutants. Who are they, Adam? Who are the wolf mutants that T'Challa brings out?
Okay, so first of all, I'm pretty sure that T'Challa actually insinuates that he might be a wolf person.
Obviously, yes, he's a wolf person too.
Because panthers are wolves, and that makes a lot of sense. But then Wolverine wakes
Cats
up.
and dogs are the same. Cats are girls, dogs are boys. We know this.
Wolverine
this is
wakes
science.
wakes up to the following 4 characters in his bedroom. I want to start with Sasquatch. Let's start with Sasquatch, who is a mystically cursed being that has nothing to do with a wolf.
And I want to be clear. If you're trying to say that the Bigfoot is a wolf man, and that is a sign of divergent evolution from apes, I would tend to argue that kind of traditionally Sasquatches and Yetis and other big-feeted monsters are like ape dudes.
Yeah.
Like that's they're ape people.
Yes. Already we're way off the mark.
I've seen Harriet Henderson's. I know.
Then we are joined by 2 Morlock sisters who we're all familiar with, who had been depowered at this point, and that is the very cat-like Feral and Thorn, who I would again argue not dogs, not wolves. They're
Very-
cats.
Like Feral's big story is that she ate some birds.
Right.
They're cats.
She pulled a Sylvester. And
They are cats from the movie Cats.
Yeah. And finally, drawn in a way that God knows where Simone Bianchi got the character reference for this, because it just does not look like her in any way, shape, or form.
But it is very funny.
Straight out of the Dog Connection storyline in Capwolf, it's everybody's favorite, Rain Sinclair, Wolfsbane.
And here's the thing. She is a wolf.
Sure, we got one out of anybody else who is not a wolf. She's the only wolf. There are no more wolves.
And she's not a wolf. She's a werewolf.
Yes.
Like the horror monster. She's a werewolf. That's why she's in Capwolf. Because they're werewolf people.
So, of course, because this is a Wolverine story, we all now, this ragtag team of Lupus Sapiens or Lupus Superior, whatever you want to call them, have to go to the Weapon X facility, because where else are we going to go?
Because, and this is the big thing, this is the big thing that T'Challa wants to get back. That his archaeologists are postulating is that throughout history, there's always a blonde wolf and a black wolf. And they are forever at some level of immortal war. At the same time, said blonde wolf, in this case, Sabretooth the cat. It's a saber-toothed cat, saber-toothed tiger. Like, that's the...
I know how cats work.
I know you know it. I know our audience knows it. I'm not sure Jeff Loeb does know it.
It's baffling.
And it's concerning to me. Again, like 5 seconds, like, Jeff, that's absolutely not... Like, that just doesn't scan what you're saying, Jeff. Yeah. Cats and dogs are different. And also, Wolverines are not cats or dogs. No. They're like badgers.
That's right.
They're rodents.
They're not wolves.
They aren't wolves.
Oh. Did we talk about Wild Child yet?
Oh yeah, let's get to. Hold on 1 second, because this is
Child?
the best part of the. This is the best part of the run. Before the Wild Child, not it. Best part of the run. They're on this plane out to Weapon X. Sabretooth has escaped. He ran to Weapon X. He keeps escaping. He escapes like 8 times.
Yeah.
Thorn and Feral get trashed on the airplane. They are straight up drinking schnapps out of a bottle.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like a private limo.
They are sewer people drinking. And I love that for them.
Sure. Bless.
But sad for Feral, who shows up but Wild Child. Now, Wild Child has a redesign, Adam.
Sure does. And
one of the redesign elements is that he's a Nazi.
It's really pretty like standard issue uniform, except it has nipple rings.
Oh, he has a lot of piercings. He has nipple rings. He has an Iron Cross and is fighting for the German army in World War II. It's not fortunate.
No, and he has been empowered through Romulus with poison-tipped claws that can defeat Wolverine, and Wolverine is like, did I just get beat up by Wild Child?
Because constantly in this arc, in the narration, Wolverine is saying, what the which is like Jeff Loeb knowing that he's doing something wild and trying to lampshade it, but it's not working because that's not how that's what like Hellboy would do. That's not what Wolverine would do. They are different.
He's definitely aware that he's trying to do something crazy, but he also does want you to take it seriously. And I don't know how you're supposed to do that because
he has everyone talking in Latin, being like, "Who is Romulus? I am what you will become."
Yeah,
Like,
there's this Latin phrase that they keep saying throughout that he keeps hearing in the flashbacks. And really all this just builds so until the last page, the last reveal is that Wolverine has to realize that Romulus is actually real and is not a figment of his imagination because he, like, I guess senses him and smells him and it all comes back. And they're all lupus sapiens. And what in the world is this? And I'm sorry, but Simone Bianchi's artwork just does not work for me here. There's a lot of really weird foreshortening and like smushed in faces, and like Sabretooth pretty much looks like a, you know, kind of like a cut of butcher meat, like hanging from a hook. And I just, there's some places where it's not terrible, you know, but it just doesn't add anything to this story, especially when he gets characters off model like he does with Wolfsbane.
yeah, I tend to like Bianchi, but it's messy in a way that doesn't work for this story. Now you are leaving out one very important thing that happens in the last issue of this.
Oh, what did I leave out?
The part where Wolverine goes to Cyclops and says, "Cyclops, give me the Muramasa blade."
Right. Yes.
And Cyclops is like, I don't think I'm supposed to do that, Wolverine. He's like, "Give me the Muramasa blade." He's like, "Are you going to go to a murder?" And he's like, "Actually, I don't care. Here you go."
Yeah.
Wolverine goes and cuts off Sabretooth's head after Sabretooth has been like, actually, none of this is meaning. Like, he gets into this weird nihilist mode for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And Sabretooth kind of lets himself get murdered with the Muramasa blade, which stops healing factors, blah, 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 can actually kill you. Very funny to me that Jeff Loeb is like, yes, and what does this need? It needs a samurai sword. We need to bring in samurai stuff to this right away. I'm Jeff Loeb, and I will never do anything problematic about Asian representation ever in my entire career, ever in my life, ever. And then Sabretooth does stay dead for a bit. Like,
Sure.
Sabretooth is dead for a spell.
He's got no head, and that's fine. Zach, this is terrible. Like,
oh, it's a bad comic.
This is like Chuck Austin levels of baddie. It's really out there. It is very, very nonsensical. I don't find it pleasing to look at. And every single issue is just like, make it stop. Please.
Oh, yeah.
Please make it stop.
We forgot to mention Wild Child has been working for Romulus forever because Romulus is pulling the strings behind everything that's ever happened to Wolverine. And he's actually the secret evil bad guy of all of Wolverine's life. I assume everyone knows Romulus's deal, but actually, if you did, that would be a wild thing to know. Did you know they made this into a motion comic that they sold DVDs of?
Oh God, no.
Right?
Wow.
That's a why that I
what a choice.
Learned that. This is bad. Hey, can I tell you the other wildest thing?
Yeah, please.
The next time that, or the last time that Jeff Loeb gets his hands on Romulus, and we aren't covering this story, but we need to in the future at some point, he introduces Romulus's twin sister, Remus, because Romulus and Remus, wolves are made for home. Yeah. Who says, actually, Romulus is a liar. Everything that he said is fake and is not true, and you did not evolve from wolves. That's a stupid thing, which I kind of love if I didn't think that Jeff Loeb wanted us to take it seriously the first time.
Yeah.
And also that, like, wait, then what did T'Challa's best scientists come up with? How did they all agree? Did Romulus infiltrate their ranks and produce false evidence to convince T'Challa the Black Panther that he was a wolfman?
It would require a really great deal of retconning. Good thing that people probably don't really remember this storyline and or think of it fondly, because, you know.
You think people don't remember this? I think I can't stop thinking about it.
All right.
Remember it fondly, that's one thing. But, like, do you remember in X Lives of Wolverine when Romulus shows up and you got hyped because you're like, oh yeah, it's Romulus?
Oh, I do remember that. Oh, jeez. What in the world?
I would go back to X Lives of Wolverine because I think, knowing what I know now, I think I would love it. I think I would go back and be like, actually, this is all good.
There was fun to be had there. There was.
Wolverine has sex with Omega Red in that.
Jesus.
That's on page. He is inside of Omega Red on page.
I know.
That's not that's
All right.
I love Wolverine comics so much. They are not good. This is a terrible one. Evolution is worse than Return of the Native by like a good chunk.
Yeah, so I'm working my way down the 800s. Is this better or worse than Hyperstorm? Fantastic Four 406 to 414 at 852.
It's worse than Hyperstorm.
Okay.
It's worse than Hyperstorm.
Is this better or worse than 861 Witchblade Wolverine?
The thing about Witchblade Wolverine is that Witchblade and Wolverine go get Vegas married. Here's the thing, Adam, I put them in front of you. I say, Adam, you can read this.
Oh, I'm reading Witchblade Wolverine. No,
or
right.
How about this? Stranger on the Street. Witchblade Wolverine? This Romulus thing. I'm giving you Witchblade Wolverine.
I think so. I don't want to force this particular story on anybody else. I don't know if it's as bad as X-Force Volume 2. X-Force and Cable of the Legend Returns. I think that's still probably worse.
By the way, folks, we are in the bottom, we're in the bottom 20, bottom 15 of the list right now. Like, we are near the nadir of all this. I think 862, which is right above that, NYX.
Mm-hmm.
NYX is trying to do something, failing really bad.
Yeah, and has
what if the cat
qualities.
Person from NYX showed up in this story, though?
Oh,
and then it was like, look at this. It's another wolf mutant.
Yeah. But I agree. I think I might give the edge to NYX, but I still think this is probably a little bit better than X-Force Volume 2 at 863.
Only because I can't... I was about to say I can't remember the name of the villain from X-Force Volume 2 off the top of my head, but I want to say is it Scorn?
Yes, with 2 N's.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Scorn.
Anyway, everyone should read this. This is...
No one should read this. What are you talking about?
Everyone should read this. This is... Just to put it in perspective, folks, not the worst Jeff Loeb comic we have on this list.
No. All right, we've got one more Wolverine Volume 3 story, and it is a...
Were you expecting this writer? Were you expecting this writer when you opened it? When you opened it, Adam, were you like, oh?
I knew that Howard Chaykin drew this arc, which I was already kind of dreading because we'll get into the Chaykin in a second. But when I saw it was Mark Guggenheim, I was like, huh, interesting. I was like, I remember Zach saying something about a Mark Guggenheim Wolverine story. And then I got into it and I realized which story this was. And I was like, ooh, he did it. He finally got me to read this.
Googs. The Googs get you in. Let's start with Howard Chaykin. Controversial figure, to say the least. And I don't know enough about all of the Howard Chaykin controversies to really get into it. I can say that I think his art's really bad in this.
Howard Chaykin is one of those figures who was incredibly influential in the 80s, right? With books like American Flag. And, has this very, very distinctive, chunky line quality that he uses. A lot of his characters have very, sort of pronounced square chins. It's a very dynamic look for the time. As he evolves as an artist, some of those things become increasingly exaggerated to the point of just comedy. And he goes from somebody who's kind of a creative contemporary of Walt Simonson to just doing something completely different. And he's gotten himself into some really hot water with some of the things that he's put out there that have been perceived as Islamic phobic, and I don't want to even say perceived. I think they're straight up Islamophobic.
I've not read it. I don't know. I don't read Howard Chaykin comics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even talking about reading the comics. I'm talking about some of the imagery that he produces to put out some of the stories that he's made. So we could probably table that for a second because we can concentrate on the fact that the artwork here is not Chaykin's best. He's far past his prime by the time he's doing this story, and God, it does not look good.
There's a panel of Wolverine, and he's supposed to be really like fighting, and he's got little T-Rex arms.
Yeah, that happens a couple times. He just has like little tiny, I'm gonna get
He
ya.
has so much. He has so much foreshortening on the claws.
Yeah.
So much. It's like they're tiny little guys. They don't even extend past his fingers.
Well, most artists like to, draw the Wolverine claws as, long knife blades,
Big.
Yeah. But there are
He's a man
occasionally
with
Wolverine
swords.
artists who just draw them as like triangles. And that's what Chaikin's doing here. He's drawing tiny little triangles for Wolverine's claws. So I think we can agree right off the bat that Chaikin's art does this story no favors whatsoever. It just does not look good by any stretch of the imagination. But the real story here is one that you have mentioned multiple times on this podcast. And I am glad that I finally read about Wolverine's battles with Laser, or AKA Azrael, the Angel of Death.
So I had to double check this because I was pretty sure I was right. Do you know who has ever called Azrael the Angel of Death in any sort of apocryphal, heretical, or even fictional stories involving, religion, angels, demons, angelology?
Can I take a wild guess?
Number of people who have called him Lazer.
Oh, wait. Are we saying he's the Angel of Death, or are we saying number of people who have referred to him as Laser?
Number of people who've referred to him as like
I would say zero.
Like, there's no, there's one. It's Mark Guggenheim.
Oh well, yeah, you know what I meant before Mark.
There's Azrael, like from Batman. Like Azrael's just like we know the name. So first, and this is the most important. I want to put one pin in Azrael and then come back to him for a second.
Sure.
I'm not calling him Laser. You can't make me, Mark. I'm not doing it. That's dumb. That's one of the dumbest things in this dumb arc. Wolverine is doing a mission with Amir. Wolverine is doing a mission with Amir, who is his Atlantean girlfriend that Mark Guggenheim introduced in his previous arc on Wolverine about a year earlier during Civil War.
Okay.
Amir gets immediately fridged.
Yes, unfortunate.
And listen, I don't like boiling every death of a female character down to saying, well, it's fridging, and that's a boilerplate reason for it being bad. I think that, as Gail Simone laid out in her original thing, like, fridging was not the act that it happens in an individual story, but more representative of the overall trend in media to have women be brutalized and murdered solely as inspiration for the male heroes. And it's more about who gets their stories told and all of that. Like, I think there's a lot more nuance than the internet likes to throw into the word fridging.
Sure.
Mark Guggenheim, however. Mark Guggenheim posits that Wolverine has had so many people fridged in his life, which is also a thing that Jeff Loeb and Greg Rucka bring up.
That was a Jeff Loeb point in his story as well.
That Amir, this random lady that no one has any real connection to and that we've seen in one other story, that her getting fridged has finally pushed him over the edge, and he has lost the will to live, which is unfortunate for him because, as we find out in World War I,
Wolverine is fighting in World War I.
Sure, that I don't even bat an eye about. Great, let Wolverine fight in every important conflict.
Sure,
Wolverine in World War I fought the Angel of Death, named Laser. He was French. I bet it was like Laser or something, but fights Laser, and Laser's like, actually, you're cool. You didn't beat me, but that was a good fight. I'll let you keep going. I'll let you not die. And what Doctor Strange and Mark Guggenheim posit is that every time that Wolverine has died, he has had to fight Laser in purgatory to come back. That's how his healing factor works.
So stupid.
I don't think it's good. I love it. It's bad.
It is bad. It is bad.
In this time, now he is so sad that he is actually for real dead because he has lost the will to live over Amir. Not over Silver Fox. Not over Mariko. Amir.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the one that really got him. And
Not over Rose, not over Jean.
yeah.
I'm here.
God, this story is bad. It's really just dumb. And he realizes that when he was brought back by the hand in Enemy of the State, there was a woman there, and that she was somehow connected to Azrael and the Angel of Death, but she
Oh,
changed.
wait. Can I say one more thing about Azrael while you say that?
Yeah.
Why was he hiding that his name was Azrael?
I don't know.
Why
Just
was
call
he
yourself
calling himself
Azrael.
Laser?
Right.
No
you
one
don't need to.
No one. I don't understand that. I'm so confused by that choice.
Yeah. So I don't know, like Wolverine has this like big conspiracy now that this woman changed it so that like he's weaker now, and now he's like heartbroken, and is he actually gonna stay dead? And of course he doesn't. Comes back and has to fight everybody. And have we mentioned these terrible covers? This has really bad covers by Arthur Suydam, and they're really bad. How does this end? I don't even remember. He kills Phaedra, right?
Because you forget. Guess who comes back in this story? You know who's involved? Shingen.
Oh, right. Yeah, Lord St. John. That's what happens at the end of this. Oh, okay. Hold on. Gotta get into this. Gotta get into this. Okay. So, Lord St. John, Mariko
Wolverine,
Yoshida's
Volume 1,
father,
Dad,
has
the
come
Silver
back,
Samurai from the Wolverine movie.
who has come back and is going to try and kill Wolverine, right? Dies again at Wolverine's hands. He kills the Phaedra woman, who's the woman who was working with Laser.
She doesn't
Azrael.
matter.
Doesn't matter. And he gets his soul back. Next time he dies, it's supposed to be permanent, right? That's the next part of this, is that when Wolverine dies the next time, he doesn't get to fight Azrael. He just dies, right? So that, I guess that's whatever.
The good news about that is that Wolverine has a healing factor and doesn't die.
Exactly.
Except for in the death of Wolverine when he loses healing.
Which would be the next time that he dies.
To be fair, well, hold on, because very soon after this, he gets sent to hell in the seminal story. Wolverine goes to hell.
Oh, that's true. Jason Aaron does kill him.
And
he did die. Well, there you go. He died. There you go. And he had to fight his way out of there too. All right. So we got to get, as a New Jersey native, we just got to address this final page. We have to address this final page. Mark Guggenheim is from Long Island. I kind of get why he might want to have done this, but the final page involves Lord St. John getting up off of this floor of dead bodies and walking away. And the last panel contains the classic Bruce Springsteen quote, "Everything that dies someday comes back," from the song Atlantic City. And Mark, that song is not about what you think it's about. And like, it really did make me very, very mad that he used that quote as part of this scene. Anyway, just that aggravated me. That really, really made me mad. This story was very dumb and I don't like it. I don't think it's quite as bad as the Lupus Sapiens stuff, but it's still like it. You know what we didn't talk about with the Return of the Native is that the Return of the Native at least had the decency to do the Wolverine Origins helicopter scene and have Wolverine destroy a helicopter from a cliffside. So clearly that's the best of this week. I think the Lupus is the worst. Is this worse than that? I mean, where do you fall on this?
It's not. Here's the thing. It's not far. One, say what you will about Simone Bianchi.
Better artist than Chaykin.
Chaykin's art in this is challenging.
Yeah.
Like it is hard to look at in places. And I am someone who tends to like expressive artists. Like when people are saying, actually, I like this weird experimental Frank Miller thing. Like I get like modern Frank Miller a lot more than whatever Howard Chaykin's doing in this.
This just looks sloppy. It really does. And
It looks weird, rushed, sloppy. And the problem is, I've never read a Howard Chaykin comic that doesn't look like that.
yeah, so you don't know what to be expecting anyway, and it doesn't matter.
I'm
It
not
doesn't
going to read
matter.
American Flag. I'm not going to read Black Rose.
No.
Like, that seems like a lot of work for a guy that I don't like that much.
Exactly. You're not going to go back and read this stuff anyway. So I think it's strangely akin to 856, which is What If 37, that Mark Pacella issue where Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires during Inferno.
Yeah.
Is this better or worse than that? I think it's worse than at 855, the Bird Brain saga. At least that has Brett Blevins art.
Yeah, the thing is, worse can mean so many things.
I know.
And it's just like, we make fun of it, but the grand idea, the high concept that Wolverine has to fight the Angel of Death, literally fight the Angel of Death every time he wants to exit purgatory and heal, is the dumbest thing.
It really is. It's very stupid.
It's the stupidest.
Yeah.
Like, that's the dumbest thing, Mark.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think this should be our new 857, because I know you absolutely despise the X-Men 100th anniversary special. So I don't know that this rises to that. So how does that sound? Does that sound like a good place on the list?
Yeah, let's put it right below What If Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires during Inferno. This is
Perfect.
857.
Yeah.
This is one of our worst performing episodes.
It really is. However, still
not
pretty entertaining.
Not as bad as anything to do with Malibu comics.
No.
Shockingly enough.
Yeah. Gosh. Wow. That was a ride.
Go read. Everyone, you should do what I did in mainline Wolverine Volume 3 over a weekend. Like 70-some issues of the most insane Wolverine comics to ever exist. Because in there, you get Old Man Logan, you get Enemy of the State, you get all of that. And Daniel Way, and Mark Guggenheim, and Jeff Loeb, baby.
Truly a journey.
You get it all.
Yeah, the
Miller,
spirit and the
Wade,
mind.
Guggenheim, Loeb. Who could ask for anything else? What a freaking insane book that was. Especially when that book was shipping at the same time as the second most insane Wolverine book to ever exist, Wolverine Origins.
Mm-hmm. Wild. Absolutely
the
wild.
Romulus and Dakin book.
Yeah. Gosh. All right. We have really gone on a journey this particular episode. Should we hype the Patreon again? Should we?
No, yeah, Patreon.com. If y'all want me to torture Adam more, go to patreon.com/battleoftheatom and throw a couple of coins into our coffers, hearts, pocketbooks. Reach into them.
Nice.
And make us... I don't know. We didn't talk about the Civil War one, but that's just fine comparatively.
There's always still ground to trot here, you know?
Do you know how much Wolverine we have not covered on this podcast?
Oh, it's sizable. It's a lot.
Let's do an all Paul Cornell power hour at some point, and you can read just another really bad... Hey, I'm just going to ask Adam, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head.
Yeah.
You know how Wolverine died in the seminal story, The Death of Wolverine?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you know he died because he didn't have his healing factor, right?
Yes.
Do you know how he lost his healing factor?
Oh, yes, I do know this, but I can't think of it right now because I've just recorded 2 episodes of this podcast and it's almost 10 o'clock at night. Just remind me.
Would you believe that he got infected with a virus from the Microverse?
Oh, get out. What?
Yep.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
And then has to fight Sabretooth at Wolverine's old ancestral home, except for it was torn down and they paved paradise and put up a parking lot and then also a mall. So he has to fight Sabretooth in a mall.
The mall. I don't think I've read that.
There's a reason why Paul Cornell was not asked to write The Death of Wolverine, and they instead had an untested, untried Charles Soule do it.
Yeah, probably.
Actually, someone request Death of Wolverine. I kind of remember liking that.
Had some Steve McNiven art, if I remember correctly.
Had good art, good covers, whole thing. Adam, what do you got going on? Anything worth plugging?
Follow on Adam Reck, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Arthur Stacy on Twitter. And what do we got going on next week, Zach?
Next week. Oh, we're going a little bit north of the border.
Ooh, I'm hungry. Got a
Where
taste
where
for
lies
human flesh.
where lies the Wendigo, Adam?
Wendigo.
Wendigo. I'm excited. It'll be a fun time. But until then, this has been Bally Adam. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!